Allow me to share with you the experience of our university when it comes to integration of the data analysis in creating future social workers. At the initial stage of cooperation with the Data for Impact, we asked ourselves why we need to integrate data analysis in training future social workers. We have analyzed the national legal framework in the area of social assistance and child protection, and we have understood that the mission of improving the quality of life of individuals and families at risk by providing social assistance and support to prevent, diminish, or overcome the situation of adversity stays on local public authorities that are specialized in the area of social assistance and family protection. Well, these specialized bodies, they have the following competences to monitor and assess. Now, the introduction of data into the IT system, keeping registries of keeping track of children from the social assistance system, the analysis and use of data, development of reports, and of course, dissemination of information. Now, the future social worker must have skills in this regard. So there is this major objective that we put ourselves for our university, which is to analyze the bachelor's program for social assistance when it comes to units of training relevant for the area of monitoring and evaluation. As you may well know, in our social assistance service, monitoring and evaluation are done at three levels: central level, local level, and individual level. And at the central level, we monitor and evaluate policies and programs in this area. At the local level, we follow the way we implement policies and programs by local authorities. At the individual level, we monitor and evaluate services provided to a person as a result of developing and implementing an intervention plan. Now, the analysis of the bachelor's program in social assistance has allowed us to understand that at the bachelor's stage, students obtain knowledge and they create monitoring and evaluation skills, which are basically at the individual level. So, what this is in relation to case management. We have the following objective. You need to understand what are the gaps in the education program and subject curricula when it comes to development in the future social workers of skills to monitor and evaluate, of skills to use data, available data in the decision-making process in order to improve the well-being of children, of families, but also of other categories of beneficiaries of social services. So we have the following gaps. When it comes to social policy analysis, I mean, these studies, they are not enough in the fundamental and specialized course units from the education program. Also, the skills related to the development of indicators in order to be able to analyze the performance of intervention programs in relation to the purposes that we lay out are insufficient in the course units from the education program. And one more finding is that during the internships, the students learn how to collect a vast array of data in relation to social problems. But these data, they are used, first of all, for reporting purposes and less for decision making to the benefit of children, benefit of families with children, and also to the benefit of other categories of beneficiaries. Then we wanted to update the initial education training program for social workers. And we have the following objectives and actions. One is to introduce in the training units of the skills, finalities, and topics relevant for monitoring and evaluation. And that was done at the following subject matters: social policies, social assistance of the victims of domestic violence, social assistance to people who are migrants, social assistance to people with disabilities, technologies of information and communication in social assistance, and others. Two, we have updated the internship curriculum, and we have developed and included into the education plan of a new training unit, which is utilization of data in decision-making process in the area of social assistance. Now, the subject matter has a total number of 90 hours, which 45 are direct contact hours and the rest is individual work. When it comes to direct contact training, we have insisted to provide a number more hours for seminars as well as lab activity. So the hours were distributed as follows: 11 for lectures, 16 for seminars, and 18 for lab-related activities. Now, in order to monitor the impact of this subject matter, we have interviewed students up until and after they heard this course. We've asked the students to describe the responsibilities which are peculiar to monitoring and evaluation that a social worker possesses. At the initial stage, before the course, the results were as follows: 83.3% of students that have been interviewed have answered that the social worker must do the initial evaluation of the beneficiary. 75% of them said that the social worker needs to know how to do a complex evaluation of the beneficiary. So the students at the initial stage associate monitoring and evaluation to a large extent with the initial stages of case management, which presuppose evaluation of beneficiary in order to develop an intervention plan. At the end of the semester, after hearing the course, the results of this question were as follows: 66.7% of students say that the social workers is responsible to collect data. 41.7% say that the social worker is responsible to analyze data. 91.7% say that the data should be presented as diagrams and tables. And 33.3% of students, they say that the social worker is responsible to use data, meaning to inform decision-making factor bodies about the results obtained through evaluation methods, analysis of causes, etc. At the same stage, we've asked the students to evaluate and appreciate the extent to which they believe that they have these skills of monitoring and evaluation after hearing the course. The results were inserted in this table. With red, we have the results which were very important to us. So these results allow us to conclude that the efforts that the project team from the Auto University has made to prepare future social workers for data analysis were efficient. Thank you. Our audience, colleagues, good afternoon rather. It is a pleasure to present today the experience of the State University from Moldova in creating analysis skills in future social workers through the master's program coordinated by the Sociology and Social Assistance Department. The need to create the skill for social workers in Moldova results from the profound changes to which the area of social assistance is facing and the and the consequences for the specialists in this field. This means evidence so that they respond to the needs of the beneficiaries so that they can monitor it and evaluate it appropriately. Now, the activity of social workers, as it was mentioned by Mr. Verlan, involves the operation with different data and information which are required to be collected, processed, analyzed, and then made available to the decision makers. In this regard, the skill of uses of data is a key skill to train them professionally. At the same time, the importance of the skill must be viewed through through digitizing social assistance, and the utilization of data could be affected by the level of professional preparation. Now, stemming from this prerequisite, in order to establish the way of integration and training in the area of these skills of data use, During March-April 2022, the team of the Sociology and Social Assistance Department of the State University of Moldova has conducted, as part of the grant program funded by USAID, a sociological study which covered 463 specialists from the area of social assistance recruited in territorial structures of social assistance, to whom we've offered a questionnaire, and we have conducted 2 focus group meetings. The results of the study have informed us that in the social assistance system we operate with a multitude of data. We use daily data about the beneficiaries. About 93% of the professionals mentioned this. Now, data about social services, more than half, and about half of the specialists operate with normative nature. Well, that is explained by the nature of the activities conducted to the benefit of people who come for social assistance. At the same time, this fact is confirmed through the results of the study regarding the purpose of data usage. We notice that the most used data for evaluation of beneficiaries, for the monitoring purposes, and for the development of reports. Now, the study also underlined that we need to strengthen the skill of working with data for professionals in the area of social assistance, specifically when it comes to the development of data collection forms, of understanding the data and usefulness of those. At the same time, the study reveals the difficulties to operate with data in Excel, collecting data in different ways without actually having templates at the national level, as well as deficient utilization of specialized software, and utilization of a high number of paper-based registries in collecting and keeping track of data. One challenge, though, in the professional training of future professionals is about people not understanding the role of data in the professional activity. By the students, actually we make effort to stir their interest towards data. When it comes to the data of the study, the team of the State University of Moldova has analyzed the education programs and the curricula by subject matters in social assistance programs and sociology from Cycle 1 bachelor's and Cycle 2 master's by identifying the course units and content which would integrate certain aspects in relation to the collection, analysis, processing, and utilization of data. Now, a decision made was to review and complete the list of professional skills. So at bachelor's Cycle 1, we've included the collection and reviewing of data and information for the identification of interventions in order to mitigate social risks at the individual, family, and group, community, and social levels. And in Cycle 2 Master, there's we give them monitoring and evaluation of social programs in line with the legislation in the field, as well as based on evidence, in order to integrate innovation. Now, consequently, we've correlated the above-mentioned skills with the course units. So, at Cycle 1 Bachelor's, we have reviewed 7 subject matters by integrating the component of data usage. And at the Master Cycle, given the particularities of the program, and namely management of social services, we have introduced a new course unit, monitoring and evaluation in the social area based on evidence. And we have reviewed the contents of other 3 subject matters. So we ensure that they contribute to the strengthening of the skill which is to use data in decision making. We need to mention that while establishing the skill of the program of the course units and of the contents, we have analyzed the expectations of the labor market, the best practice at the international level, but also the experience of our peers from the D4I project. As a result of the experience and of training conducted at the national level. At the same time, we have made sure that there is a participatory process in this exercise by involving the students at all levels. Next slide, please. The conceptualization of the new subject matter was done by establishing study finalities which are focused on training skills to understand monitoring and evaluation in the area in social area, of projecting and conducting evaluation studies, or visualization of monitoring evaluation data, developing decisions based on data. Subject to these finalities, we have determined the content units which have been reflected in the curricula for the subject matter, and it was planned for a total number of 150 hours, academic hours, of which 40 hours is lecture and seminar, and 110 hours is individual study. So the new subject matter will be given to the master's degree students, both from the social assistance area as well as from the sociology area in semester 3, which would allow the application of knowledge in developing master's thesis. In order to teach the subject matter, we have developed the methodological guideline and the course support for the subject matter, which will be accessible both for lecturers as well as to the students, including in the data bank of the institution. Next slide, please. The activities that we have undertaken in the grant program are part of the activities which are aimed at modernizing and adjusting the professional training program in the area of social assistance to the needs of the labor market. And in 2023-2024, we start the training in the new format of subject matter for bachelor's and master's by focusing on creating the skill of data usage as well as of a qualified labor force. Also, in order to strengthen the internship programs, we want to cooperate with the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection as well as with other institutions in order to ensure the conduct of internship at masters, the degree in the area of data usage for decision making. As a result of conducting these activities at the end of 2023-2024, we will conduct an analysis of the results of the projects, and we will make sure, as appropriate, the strengthening of course units which are focused on the training competences to use data in a social area. One important aspect to ensure the sustainability of the activities conducted in the project is about the integration of the data use skill in order to do monitoring and evaluation in the competence standards and qualification standard in data social assistance at the level of higher education, level 6, 7, and 8, on which a whole team of the State University of Moldova is working now in partnership with colleagues from the academia and labor market.
I have to mention that cooperation of the State University of Moldova team with Data for Impact has been an opportunity to upgrade the vocational training programs in social assistance and other disciplines in order to align with the international standards in the field. And the most important is that the decisions that are going to be made by professionals in the field, social workers, will be based on data and evidence, and only in the benefit of people who are benefiting from social services. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this question. First of all, I would like to mention that we are also social assistance teachers, professors have updated our knowledge and constantly update our knowledge in monitoring and evaluation. From at the very beginning, it was a bit challenging for us as well, but we try to organize some discussions between us, those who read these courses, to see how much do we know and what can we offer to our students. And I have to admit, it was not very easy at the beginning. We needed some time in order to document ourselves, in order to analyze the materials that the D4Y team used for training social workers in our country. And we're very grateful to our colleagues for sharing those materials. They were very useful for us. So we consider that we have managed to implement changes in teachers training, in the M&E teachers training in the first place. And then every one of us, every lecturer can always improve. And regardless of the discipline of the subject that we read, we have to ask ourselves this question: how can we build the capacity of our students in terms of monitoring and evaluation, data collection, analysis, interpretation, and use in order to generate a positive impact upon their beneficiaries? Regarding the outcomes, the learning outcomes in our students, I showed several slides with percentages, and I can say that students have got a certain volume of knowledge or theoretical knowledge in the first place. So they learned some things that they hadn't learned from other subjects about types of data, about types of indicators, about data collection, about data quality, about how to analyze data, how to visualize it in order to support the decision-making process. And we consider that that knowledge was very necessary for future social workers. And we can really see changes in the competences of our students. Another change that we've managed to achieve refer not necessarily to the theoretical knowledge, but to the practical skills that our students have developed. They have learned how to prioritize, for instance, the subject matter, how to collect data, how to analyze data, how to transform raw data into information. The students learn how to present data because at a later stage of research, of defending their thesis, they need to present this data. But actually, these practical skills will be also useful for them when taking exams on other subjects as well. As a conclusion, I would like to say that participation in this project by D4Y has helped our teachers training university achieve two major changes. In the first place, in the teachers training, those who are reading social assistance courses on the one hand, and on the other hand, changes in training future social workers.
It's a good question. Part of it is by engaging in my own portfolio of research and program evaluation. And some of it also is really learning from my students. So Jamovi actually was a resource that a doctoral student shared with me. So there's a lot we can also learn from our students in the field, whether they're working at agencies in internships or if they're working part-time in social service agencies. Many of our students come to us after having been in the field for many years and now going back to get a formal degree in social work. And so they also are an important resource. And the third is through our community partners and understanding the needs of our community and the folks that we engage with in program evaluation. We learn quite a bit on the ground in real time from engaging in that work and then are able to bring it back to our students. And of course, there are, standard ways through conferences or research articles and new textbooks. Personally, I prefer getting the real experience from our partners in the field and from our students and my own research.
It is a rather challenging question, and we are always thinking about it. Those of us who are engaged in the teaching process as well as in the curricular developing process. The Sociology and Social Assistance Department is revising the curriculum on a yearly basis. And this helps us to keep up to date. We also have academic mobility programs, and we get inspired from those, as well as from cooperations with foreign universities, from other national universities in the country, from our partners, experts in the field. And all these give us the possibility to review and revise and update our curriculum. Another way to make sure that our curriculum is based on the needs, we also ask our students for feedback because, and Dr. Salzman mentioned, that many students have their own practical experience from internships or from their jobs. So we always make sure that we consult them for them to feel that the curriculum corresponds to their needs and is actually up to date with the situation in the field in the real time. And today's webinar is also that kind of experience that allows us to share experience between colleagues, and we'll keep in touch with Dr. Salzman, I hope, in order to be able to continue this exchange in the future. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now we are in the process of developing curriculum for an internship aimed at developing M&E skills and data analysis and interpretation skills in our students. So this is what we are now working on, development of that curriculum for an internship on monitoring and evaluation in particular. A challenge for the team of our department is to manage to develop these standards for competencies and qualification in the field of social assistance for all the higher education institutions in the Republic of Moldova as a framework document based on which they will revise their syllabus and their curriculum, and to make sure that the data analysis and interpretation competence is included as a key competence in that standard. So a hot summer is awaiting for us, but these standards will be aligned with European and international standards for sure.
For sure. I think something that we're excited about is finding opportunities for our students to also practice the dissemination of monitoring and evaluation. So getting them engaged in the publication of research is also part of helping them understand how it all relates to them and their practice. Some universities are already doing this with in-house journals, similar to what you might see, for example, in law schools with law review or something of that nature. And so I think that's a very exciting initiative that Tulane is also working on, creating more opportunities for our students to publish their own scholarship and their own evaluation work.